You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Great guest today. Ryan, good to see you. You okay with it? I think you're going to have to hold your microphone today.
I'm just going to hold it
today.
today. No, it's a little, gravity's not on my side. But hi, how are you?
Because you got love on your side. Hey guys, I hope you have I had a great weekend. I was in Vegas. It was amazing. I was at the Creation Con, the Supernatural Con with Jensen and Jared. We took pictures together. It was so fun. My buddy's band, Loud and Swain, all my buddies playing that band. Billy Moran plays on all 3 albums that I've done of mine. It was just a great time. The fans are unbelievable. Love chatting with them. I thought they weren't going to like us because we weren't Supernatural, but there's sort of a crossover because they aired after we did on Tuesday nights, I believe. And also Jensen was on Smallville for I think like a season or 2, and we worked together. So I took like 50 pictures with Jensen. It was really funny. But it was great. Vegas was fun. I was locked out of my Twitter account. So hopefully, so I don't know what's going on there. I don't know how to get back in. I don't know. I think it was hacked. I don't know. I do not know what happened. They said you need to be a 2-factor verification, and I go, okay, I'll do that. And I did that, and after that, just locked. I don't know what happened.
Oh no,
something happened. Maybe it was hacked.
Oh,
I don't know. But Twitter, help me. Although Twitter kind of sucks anyway. Instagram's like the thing.
Well, now you're definitely not going to get in.
Well,
Twitter help.
I don't think they're. Well, I mean, look how they're treating me. I'll say something nice if they fix it, but right now I'm pissed.
Well, fine.
Tom Welling and I will be, listen to this, Dallas, Texas with Creation with Jensen and Jared and the gang. February 4th and 5th. We're doing a Smallville Nights on February 4th. Get your tickets now. It was awesome. You're gonna love it. We do an hour and a half show. There's prizes. We read scripts. It's a real blast. And also, please go to Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your music. And my new album's out. Sunspin. The band is Sunspin. You could get it for free everywhere, or you can go to iTunes and get the songs. You could also go to sunspin.com. And you could buy merch and CDs, keepsakes, whatnot, t-shirts, support us, and really appreciate that. And also the Inside of You online store if you want awesome Inside of You merchandise and autographed Lexmas scripts, and there's like ship keys autographed and script, just tons of cool shit, Ryan.
Nice.
But anyway, and of course, last but not least, and I'll get into it, patreon.com/inside of you for folks who want to support the podcast. Without you, I can't do this podcast, period. Without the patrons supporting the podcast and giving back a little, it just would be impossible. So thank you, all my lovable patrons. I send you boxes every couple of months, and hopefully new people will listen and join Patreon. Patreon.com/inside of you. Great guest today. I knew this guy, Ryan. He did this it was like a sort of a Star Wars movie. It wasn't a Star Wars movie, but it was about going to break in Lucas Ranch. It was like back in the. It was
Fanboys.
Fanboys.
Yeah.
Yes, and my friend Kyle Newman, he directed it, and this guy was in it, Dan Fogler, who is really funny.
Yeah.
And Dan Fogler is kind of a guy that's known for his comedy. Like you watch him, and you're like, oh, this guy's he's the funny guy. Great at what he does.
Yeah.
And I stumbled upon this new show in the last 6 months on Paramount Plus, I believe. It's called The Offer. It's the making of The Godfather, told in a way with actors about how it was made.
Yeah.
So it's I had to have him on the podcast. I won't tell him how I got his email, but I got it from a friend, from a friend's friend. And I just said, dude, you were unbelievable in the show. We kind of know each other through some people. Would you do the podcast? And he finally did it. And he played Francis Ford Coppola. And I'm telling you, he was genius. If you haven't seen this show, The Offer, you're in for a treat. It's just how hard it was to make movies, how hard it is to make movies. But this one in particular was pretty crazy. Anyway, I love this guy. He really opened up about his life, about what he wants, what he's doing, and about The Godfather and how hard it was to make that movie. And without further ado, let's just do it. Let's get inside of Dan Fogler.
It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm glad
How
you
you
did
doing?
this, man. I'm glad you did this. You know, I don't think, have we met? Because I think we have a lot of the same friends, and I've always heard your name come up. You've always taken roles from me, but I've never actually met the Dan Fogler.
Is that true? Well, it feels like we know each other forever.
It does. I already feel warm. I feel warm.
You feel warm inside.
Does it? I do. I feel like I know you, so I'm just going to pretend like I do.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, my friend. Is that a mimosa?
I'll say yeah. No, it's sparkling water with orange juice. I
In
need
a-
a little citrus in there, you know.
In a wine glass. Very fancy.
Yeah, that was all that was left in the cupboard.
Are you a fancy guy? I don't take you as fancy. I don't think you like going to fancy restaurants.
I mean, I like to, but I'm not like constantly like, ooh, I got to go to that fancy restaurant. But I enjoy them. I
Right.
enjoy the finer things, but I'm pretty low maintenance.
I'm normally the guy who like has a few places that I order from, and I just keep going to those places. I don't like to get out of the house much. There's a couple of places if I do go out, I'll go to. I gotta get out of my box, man. I gotta get out of it.
Yeah, you're a creature of habit. Yeah, me too, man. I'm the same way. I have my favorites and my go-tos, and I'm open to hear other people's suggestions. But I usually go to my same old, you know. It's just easy. You're just like, they delivered, they're loyal.
It was
They
good.
get here on exactly.
I
That's
think,
fourth.
yeah. That's good. Do you have a lot of friends that you hang out with, or is it mostly just you, the wifey, and the kids?
In London here, yeah, we have her family's out here, so we see them quite a bit. I have a couple friends that live here, but I have friends that come in like vacation and like coming for like a week or whatever and pop in, and so that's cool. Yeah, where are you at, man?
I'm in LA. Are you filming something right now?
I'm living here. I'm about to film something in Rome, so it's more convenient to be here. But yeah, no, I'm living here, man. It's crazy. Yeah, I've been living here since the lockdown because I was shooting the third Fantastic Beasts movie.
Yeah.
And I had the family out here, and we got a nice situation out here that my wife inherited from her family. So it's a nice house, and so I was literally like all mustached up, ready to like go to my first shoot day, and they were like, they turned the car around. I was like, "What's going on?" We're like, "Well, there, you know, we're gonna shut down for a little bit," and then it was like months. So I was supposed to be there for 6 months, and it turned into a year and a half. So during that time, my wife and I were just like, all right, the kids are in school here, and we didn't know what the hell was happening in America. We were just like, let's figure out how to become residents here just in case. And, you know, I don't know if you got kids, but it's all about the kids, like their comfortability. They're in school, they like it. So it's just like, all right, we'll this ticks off a lot of boxes for us. I never thought I'd be living here, but here we are.
Do they like Fantastic Beasts? It's a big production, big studio movies. Do they, during the COVID, since they have you sort of on hold, do they have to keep paying you more and more as part of a policy? Or do they just say, no, you're getting paid the same, but you're just sort of on hold until we're ready?
Yeah, no, it's like they shut down production. So that means that they shut everything down.
So you don't get paid at all.
I didn't say it.
That sounds like a real drag. You know, you say you live in London. I don't know, and you have a lot of English. I don't have a lot of English friends. I think that English people, for the most part, make me nervous. I do have English, but it's just the way they speak, and I just feel like, oh my God, I'm stupid. I don't know what it is, but it's just like, yeah, so we're going to meet at this restaurant. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm nervous already. Oh, this sounds like I have to dress up. I have to talk a certain way. You don't feel that, do you?
No, for me, it's like, I feel like they just are part of the empire because I grew up on Star Wars. So I just assumed that they're part of the dark side. No, yeah, it was, when I was shooting the first movie and I got here, and yeah, I felt like Britain was, I just had it in my head like they are superior. And and it was, yeah. And so like I wouldn't open my mouth. I would just be like, I would point at things. I'd be like, I want that, I was like ashamed of and then when I started talking, it was like, I would just I would like put on an accent. I would do like a Jason Statham kind of.
He kind of sounded like Nick Frost, who's been on the podcast. I love him. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I would do like a fake accent, and I was able to get by like that for a while. I just want a ham sandwich. So stupid.
And you'd stay in it? You'd stay in that character?
Yeah, I'd stay in it, those first couple months. It was cool, you test out accents.
Yeah.
But people would hear like, wait, that's not quite right.
Something's right. Where is he from? What area is he from?
Right. And then when they start asking you questions, you're just like, all right, mate, gotta go.
Getting nervous. Dude, I'm looking at your career and everything, and I've seen some interviews with you. I mean, you've done so many different things. It's like, obviously, Good Luck Chuck and Fanboys and Fantastic Beast franchise, Take Me Home Tonight, which I was just talking about, Walking Dead. And what really blew me away was, because I've seen all these things, I'm like, oh, he's so funny. He's always good. He always brings it. But I emailed you, or I messaged you, because I saw you in The Offer, and it just blew me away. It blew me away. I was like, this, because you don't get to be serious as much as you get to be kind of funny guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But boy, I mean,
they gave me a chance.
Well, they always say comedy's harder, right? As an actor, so comedy's harder. Serious is easier. I always felt like that too. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't have to. Comedy is like math. You have to hit. It's like music. If you don't hit the right chords, if you don't hit the right tone, they're not going to laugh, and it's just like it doesn't work. So it's a real art. But drama, you can just be.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about making anyone laugh. You just are. And that could be funny too. You can find some dark, hysterical moments in there, but it's a lot easier. And I like I went to college for acting, and so I did all sorts of dramatic stuff, Chekhov and Uncle Vanya and fucking Shakespeare and Mamet. So like I knew I had all that stuff in my pocket from when I was in my 20s. And so everyone's got their own course of how they get to where they're at. I've had a couple of moments where I was able to do some drama along the way. Like I get to be more like even if I'm in like The Walking Dead, for example, I'm still more of a jovial character.
Right.
But I do get to do, there's a lot of dark moments.
Yeah.
Coppola, man, he's a serious dude. And
Jesus.
So that was like, and he's obviously an iconic legend, alive. It was big shoes to step into, and he can be kind of funny, in some ways.
So you met him?
No, but I feel like I've seen him. He's eccentric, and he's passionate, and he like there are moments in Apocalypse Now that are surreally hysterical. Hearts of Darkness, you watch him in that, but he's in Apocalypse Now, and that moment is so surreal and hysterical where he's just all, don't look at me, look, keep going, don't look at the
yeah, I remember that.
It's just like, it takes a darkly comedic mind to that's an opera. Like The Godfather's an opera. He creates like Dracula's are these like operas, and so you have to hit every note on the piano. You have to hit every color on the palette. Like that's what he does. So there's a little comedy and everything. And
this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things. But sometimes life gets you bogged down and you may feel overwhelmed or like you're not showing up in the way you want to. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you. Because when you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything life throws at you. And who couldn't use a few better coping skills to be able to handle all of life's curveballs? Look, if you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge. BetterHelp can help you be the best you possible. Try it today. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/inside today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/inside. This message is sponsored by Discover. Did you know you could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection? The latest innovation from Discover. Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And they'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection. You guys, if you haven't seen The Offer,
it's Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus, The Offer. I don't tell you to watch a lot of things. This is a great series. If you've never heard of it, it's sort of like how the Godfather movie came to be, how it was made, and all the difficulties, the adversity they faced, which I had no idea the shit that this movie almost went under so many times. And the stories are so fascinating that you're like, this can't be true. And then you start looking shit up after you're watching. You're like, wow, this is true. This happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Life is even stranger than fiction. And the show did kind of squeeze in a couple years of history there. But there's I'd say about 85% of that show are real things that happened, and real like every day was a battle just to make the movie.
Yeah.
Like first like Coppola didn't want to make it. He was just like, I don't know, I don't like how it makes Italians look. And then like the legend is that George Lucas was just like, dude, they're gonna shut this place down. They're gonna lock the doors of American Zoetrope. You got to do this movie. So it's just like, he was like, okay. And then in meeting Mario Puzo, he just found this kindred spirit who was just like this, other, because he's basically a writing genius. Coppola was a writing genius in his own right. He wrote Patton, won the Academy Award for that, and so he really hit it off with Mario, and from them they really pared down the gold from that novel, and those are some of my favorite scennes.
Oh yeah, Patrick, when you're with Puzo and just sitting there and have a sandwich thing, and it's hilarious, and you're like, how are they going to do this? How are they going to get anything done?
See, it's funny. There's funny moments. It's
Absolutely.
like, yeah, they're the two of them. The two of them are a great odd couple in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Puzo is just like it's sloppy, and Coppola is just like stay on target.
Yeah. The other genius in that, I think everybody's performance in that movie or in that show, in the series, was fantastic. It's The Offer. Brilliant. I'm not just saying this. It's a brilliant show. I couldn't stop watching. I could not go to sleep. I had to watch it. And the guy who plays Robert Evans, what's his name?
Matthew Good is like a time machine. I call him the time machine.
He's Robert Evans.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
fucking Robert Evans. I saw the Robert Evans documentary, The Kid Stays in the Picture. I've heard him talk. He is Robert Evans. It's unbelievable how he nailed that.
And he's a British guy. It's crazy.
Oh my God.
I call him the time machine because I love working with everybody. Miles, Juno, like Byrne, Gorman, everybody was so fun to work with. But Matthew was Bob Evans, and there were moments where I would be sitting there and I'd have, like, from my point of view, I have the Coppola glasses on, and I'm looking down at Coppola's thoughts in his gigantic, notebook that he had that broke down every inch of the Godfather script. So I literally would just be like holding authentic thoughts of Coppola in my hand. And then in my periphery, there would be Matthew just as Bob. And I would feel the Paramount logo like on the wall. And I would have out-of-body experiences. I would have these moments where I was like, "Oh my God, what's my line?" I would just be like, "Whoa, am I here right now?"
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
I felt like I was in the office with Bob Evans, and it was just
that's insane.
It wasn't like I jumped into Coppola's body or something. Like it was very surreal, and it happened a lot with Matthew. It was wild.
Did you ever do your Al Pacino on set?
Oh yeah, Anthony Ippolito, who played Pacino, who did a great job.
Yeah, he was great.
And he's kind of playing young Al Pacino,
and which I thought you like nailed it. And everybody was I do more of an older, Al Pacino, like whatever. Like everyone had a Pacino on set, and so it was crazy. It was like dueling Pacinos anytime Anthony was on set, and he was a good sport. Thank God, But yeah, that's fun, man. Come on.
That's just brilliant. Did you get the offer, or did you have to, no pun intended, but did you have to audition repeatedly? They wanted to see what you could do. Was it a tough get?
I auditioned. I made a tape. So what happened was my reps emailed me, and they were like, "We want you to." They want you to audition for Coppola, and I was like, "Okay, great." And then I got the email with the sides, and the header said Coppola, but it was Puzo sides. And I was like, "Oh, I thought it was for Coppola." And they were like, "No, they want you to audition for Puzo." And I was like, "Can I also audition for Coppola?" And they were like, "Okay." So right away, like if I hadn't said that, who knows what would have happened.
Wow.
So I sent in an audition for Coppola and for Puzo. So first I did Coppola, and I put my hair to the side, and I had the beard, and I put the glasses on, and I was like, "Holy shit, I look like him." I was like, I didn't like really put that together, but then I was like, "Okay, this is not so hard to look like him." And then when I do my auditions on tape, I also I tape the lines of the reader, and I play them back. So I'm basically reading with myself. And so I was reading, I was Pacino. We did this scene where Coppola and Pacino are in the restaurant bathroom, and he's talking about getting the gun behind the pull chain for the tank, in the bathroom there, and that famous scene. And so I'm auditioning with that scene as Coppola, but also playing Pacino off camera. So I was like, okay, that's pretty awesome. Like, not that I would ever play Pacino, but I was like, they and then I shaved and I put my hair, back, and I put other different glasses on, and then I did Puzo, and I did the scene where Puzo goes into Chasen's, and he meets Frank Sinatra, that crazy fucking scene where they ends up insulting each other, and he goes to stab him with a fork.
Yeah.
So I read Puzo, and then I also read Frank Sinatra, and I sent all that in. And I was just like, whether I get this or not, I just read for 4 different roles, for this freaking thing, and I sent it in, and then I got Coppola.
How did you? I mean, did you memorize all? You memorize all your lines? Are you a good auditioner?
I go to for auditions because they just happen quickly like that, and you got to be off book. I got a couple different methods. I have the lines in my ear sometimes.
How do you do that? How do you do the lines in your ear?
You take, like, you have your thing like this, or you preferably one that's like black or something,
right?
So it blends in, and you put it over your ear like that. You stick it in there, and you flip it behind there, and you just get everything. I just record all my lines, and I can just hear my line in my ear and just say it, but that's hard because you usually have to have a reader, so you have to wait for their timing. It's a whole mind fuck. So I stopped doing that, and. Nowadays, I just do the Brando thing, and I just have my sides taped off camera.
So you never really memorize your lines?
Nah, you got to pay me for that, man.
Dude, holy shit, man. I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, because that's how I feel. I'm like, I don't want to learn 6 pages of dialogue for them to say
impossible.
No. I don't have the time.
Who has the time? Who has a photographic
We used to have the time, Dan.
No, I never had. I was terrible at it. That's why I became a good improviser, because I always go up on my line and I got to fill in the gaps. And that's, sometimes that makes it into the movie and sometimes it doesn't. Depending on if the director, writer, whatever, can you get my line exactly correctly with all the punctuation?
Jesus.
You never know who you're going to be dealing with there.
But do you usually know your lines when you're on set, for the most part?
Yeah, I try to be very off book, but I know just I'm human, that at some point I'm going to mess up my lines, and I don't like to mess up my lines. I don't like to stop the whole production. I like because I'm from theater.
Right.
I like to keep the ball in the air. So if I fuck up my line, I will continue with something else, stay in character until someone else feeds me my line or I remember or whatever. But I don't ever stop the scene. I just keep on going until they say cut.
Are you, when you look back, when you started in theater and all that stuff, when you're sitting here at your age, what are you, 46, 45, 44? What is it?
Yeah, keep going down.
44?
43, 40, sold.
Sold to the man of the beard. Are you, this is a weird question. Are you where you thought you'd be? Are you a lot further along than you thought you'd be? Or are you expecting to be way bigger of an actor? What was in your mind? What kind of ego? What kind of, if you look back?
I think I got exactly what I wanted. Like I always wanted, I got a lot. What's crazy is that I was in college. They were like, you're not going to work until you're 38 because you're a character actor. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, and basically they were right. Like I didn't really fit into my body, really own my character until around that time. But I was like, fuck you. I want to work earlier than that.
I would hope. Yeah. I got to make some money here.
So it put a fire in my belly to just prove them wrong. And I did. I started working in by 28, which was 10 years earlier than they predicted. And then, but I've had certain lulls in my career where I was like, oh, that didn't go well. That didn't go as planned. And I've had to, life happens. And then I've had a couple miracles. I've had to wish on stars. for opportunities that have happened, like Fantastic Beasts, that came out of the blue, which I was like, whoa, like in my head, I was just like, where the fuck did this audition come from? I thought that I would have to get this role down here and prove myself in this next role here in order to be even anywhere near contention to be in that room for that audition. But for some reason, I was suddenly in that room, maybe because they were looking for a certain type or whatever, but they fucking looked at everybody. I auditioned, and then they were like, okay, great. And then they'd audition everybody from here to the moon. And then they come back to me a couple months later. So it was just like, I've had these moments that where miracles happened, where like I was on Broadway for the first time in Spelling Bee. This was my big break. I got a fucking Tony Award the first time I'm on Broadway. If I didn't think that was going to happen, that was a miracle to me. I was like, okay, miracles are possible. You do get these moments where the universe conspires in your favor and just gives you a leg up. Because when I won the Tony Award, that's when movie offers started happening. So you get these opportunities, and the offer was kind of the same thing. Like the offer, like I thought that, okay, I've been doing good work and Fantastic Beasts, I'm doing some serious stuff, but I would think that I would have to play. And my thinking is like, okay, I would have to play Belushi. I would have to play Sam Kinison. I would have to play something like that first, do well in order to improve myself, in order to be in contention to audition for Coppola. You see,
I understand exactly what you're saying, but you know, I feel like the same person. I never thought they would consider me really for Lex Luthor. In a million years, my friends would all say, dude, you're a fucking idiot. How are you playing a mastermind? Like, I don't know. Like, dude, I mean, come on. You're a wiener. You're not going to... And I couldn't see it. And a lot of times you hear this by these coaches, you know, they're like, if you can't see it, nobody else can see it.
It's a mind game.
It is.
You got to believe it, and then and then you can will it to happen.
But even when it happens, you're like, how the fuck did this happen?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, because there is a kind of moment there where, especially with something like Coppola, where it's just like, okay, I got to prove to a lot of people that I can do this. I got to prove it to myself. I got to do it. So first couple of days on set are a little, stressful, but you do scenes and you read the room, you know. And Dexter Fletcher, who was the director, was like a fucking hypnotist. Like he was just like this incredible cheerleader where like from the moment like I was in costume and he was like, you're him, mate. You're doing it, mate. Yeah, you are Coppola. Yeah, you're just him. You know, it's just be like, okay, I'm him. You're right. You know, and he was just like, had this amazing talent to just instill confidence. So very early on in it, I was like, I trusted it. I was like, okay, I don't got to see playback. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And because when you're dealing with something so like
heavy,
has so much importance in our business, you know, like that, someone like Coppola, I think you have to just like let it go and just play. And it's going to be, or you'll kill
yourself. I mean, you'll beat yourself down. And also, like, having someone like this director, imagine if you had some director who was just like an asshole or wasn't really present, or like, all right, let's do another one. Let's do it again. All right, great.
Right.
Let's moving on. That you didn't trust. Then you're going to spend the whole feature going, I'm going to be laughed at. Do I suck? What's going on? We need as actors, we need some assurance. We need some some trust to know that we're on the right path. We're doing the right thing. If we don't get that, and very few have the confidence to just trust themselves and no one else. You need someone else to kind of guide you a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, that's why you want an actor's director. Dexter has been acting since he's a kid. Like if you're in a comedy or something and the director's a little wonky, or they're like a new director, you can at least say, hey, can I see some playback? Can I see the dailies? They're more open to that.
Yeah.
So you can at least gauge your performance, and in the moment, like, especially but with like a drama, there's not a lot of looking at playback, there's not a lot of hovering around, you don't have
time.
Screen.
No time really, right?
Oh, well, there's time, but it's not, it's a different kind of animal. It's like, because in comedies, it's like it's you get this little audience and you're standing around the director's tent and
you see what's funny. You can see what's working. You can see, like,
you're watching the playback and it's like it's a group effort. You're like, yeah, that worked. Okay, let's go back and do another. But it's I don't know if it's the same kind. It's like it's almost too pretentious if it's drama.
Yeah, it's like you can't really have that audience to go, oh yeah, no, that was really good. It's just different. Like, I remember I did this movie with Steve Martin, and Steve would go to the playback monitors every take, and he'd go, oh, I can go bigger there. I can go bigger, and I was like, oh wow, look, I was learning from him. He was looking at this.
Was that? What movie?
It was not. It was called Bringing Down the House. I wore a horrible wig, and I just wanted to work with Steve Martin, and he was lovely. But
who doesn't want to work with him, man?
Yeah,
love Steve.
He's the best. I mean, the first day he comes on set and goes, "Tell me about this Smallville," and we hit it off. And I'd be at lunch and go, "You mind if I sit here with you?" And I go, "Yeah, Steve, sit down." We hung out in his trailer. He played the what is
banjo.
It? The banjo. He signed my Jerk poster, which is somewhere in this house. He was awesome, man. He was a delight.
That's good.
You talked about lulls, like, you had those lulls. You're like, oh, what's happening? This didn't work. I didn't do well. Do you get anxiety? Do you get depression? Do you have things that you do for it? Do you go to therapy? What is it how do you deal with things? How do you deal with life, rejection?
It helps. It helps to create a philosophy for yourself where it's just like do or die, where you're just like, okay, whether, like, when I set out to be an actor, I was like, I don't care if I make a penny at this. I'm going to be doing this till I'm 99 years old on the side of a road with a hat, just being like, hello, my baby, like doing like a whole, like, tap dancing for people. And like, I really, that's true. Like, if you were making no money, you wouldn't have quit eventually. You wouldn't have given up. You would have kept doing repertory theater, whatever it was, till I died.
Wow.
I would have just kept acting. Yeah, because I don't know, man. I just like it's my jam. Like if I don't know, like if I couldn't act, I would be doing some other right brain thing. Like that doesn't make money. Like sculpting on the side of the road.
You are a sculptor. You're a sculptor.
Yeah, but like, it's a hobby. But
wait, if I offered you $50 million cash, $50 million, and I said you can never act again.
Oh fuck, it's kind of sad. Here's $50 million, you can never act again?
No, never act again.
Holy crap. I'd have to talk to my wife for that.
50, take it.
Sculptor,
take it. We can act in front of each other. Nope, can't even act in front of each other.
Even act in front of
you can't even pretend to like things.
Wow. 50 million. It's a lot of money. I don't know, man. I feel like I would still like sneak away and make like indie films, like secret films to feed the beast in my belly.
My God.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No, that's amazing that you even ponder that, Because if somebody said, I'll give you 5, I'd be like, fuck yeah, 5 million. I'm done. Let's move on to, I'll direct. I'll do
I still
whatever. I'll
got
travel.
I don't know. I still got something to prove. Like if I had done if I had gotten to this point and you offered me the same thing, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I've done all my favorite roles and all the things I wanted to do, and then I would say like, yeah, I guess I could step away from acting, and that would be a kind of like a rock and roll kind of thing, and just live but I haven't
But
done
wait,
everything.
you just said I still have to prove. Do you have to prove to yourself, or do you have to prove to everyone else? Be honest, because a lot of it's like, I want to show you that I'm a fucking brilliant actor. Or do you want to just prove to yourself too that you're capable of doing that?
I know I'm capable of doing it. I know, like, cause like I said, like in college, like I did the full spectrum of like, I had like a really good idea of what my abilities were in college as what I would call a sad clown, the kind of actor that can make you cry in one sentence and make you sad and make you happy in the next sentence. And that's what I always wanted to be, watching actors like Robin Williams, who I love, and may he rest in peace. And like, I was like, not that I'm anywhere near the quickness of Robin or his talent, but I would strive to be like him. And I knew in college that I was like, oh, I can make people laugh and I can make people cry. And I've been given chances to do that in certain roles over the years, but there's certain roles that I've always wanted to play. And there are certain roles that like I haven't stretched all the muscles that I stretched in college, for this audience yet, that I have their attention, and so I want them to see the full spectrum, and then you can judge my career or my abilities on that. And then I'll take you 50 million.
I knew you were going to say that. And I'll take you 50 million. All right, fair enough. But let's go back. Let's rewind about 8 minutes back to the lull. We didn't finish that thought because I went off on a tangent because I wanted to ask you some things. But the lull, what do you do? What kind of things do you do for the lull? Because now you have kids, you have a wife. You can't just all of a sudden you get really depressed and sad, and you got a family to take care of. But like we do unintentionally, it's just human nature. But are your lows low? Do you get anxiety? How do you deal with it?
I can't turn off the creative, meter that's constantly going in my head. So I'm constantly writing. When I have a lull and I'm not getting any work, I will write something for myself, and I'll direct the movie. I'll just put out an independent film where it's like a vehicle for me. Like I don't know. I feel like I just have to keep the momentum going. I am constantly, because I have kids and a wife, it's a huge motivating factor to be like, okay, I cannot sit around. I have to, hustle. I'm constantly hustling. I'm hustling even when things are good. Like I'm constantly trying to figure out what the next gig is, creating gigs for myself, creating like new pathways to make money.
Yeah.
With these abilities, like it's nonstop, and it helps when there's nothing going on. It keeps you focused. Work begets work. Gives you confidence. You're just like, okay, like I can still do what I love, and keep my passion going, and keep myself satisfied. And there's a lot of fucking like I know that there was like those times during those lulls when nothing's going on, when people, you're the closest people that you have to you, who have supported you all the way up until that point, are suddenly like, yeah, maybe it's time to, throw in the hat, and when you're just like, what? Are you kidding? Like, we got this far. Now you think like it's over? Like, to use that and prove them wrong. Huge motivating things, it's just like, and then there's like a luck factor. There's like a wishing on, I wished on a star. Like whenever there were lulls, before I have a tradition before New Year's, especially during these times, I would make a wish for some kind of guidance, some kind of miracle to happen, and it was answered every single time. And we can go into that whole thing, manifesting things and intention, manifesting, things that you want in your life. I believe it's real that you can do these things because I'm living it.
Like The Secret or the Celestine Prophecy, or like wanting something so bad and having this vision of it and really believing it and imagining yourself being there and that you belong, and that I believe a lot of that too. I really do. I think, again, it comes down to, you've got to really believe it. You can't just be like, I'm going to be a star, huh? I'm going to make millions of dollars. You got to really believe it, and also be motivated to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, you have to feel it in your heart to the point where you believe it's already happening. And guess who's really good at that? Actors.
Yeah.
Actors are really good at believing stuff, making themselves believe situations. So the art of manifesting stuff is, the universe doesn't understand want and need. It understands the vibration of the emotion. So if you're vibrating at that frequency of, yeah, I am so happy that this stuff is already happening, then the universe says, yes, let's continue with that feeling.
Yeah.
That's it. You have to just vibrate at the same frequency as what you want. If you vibrate with worry and need, then you'll get that.
Interesting. Drinking your mimosa. This is very insightful. As you're listening, I forget I'm even interviewing you, I kind of start like, this is a conversation. This is like interesting. I like this.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
I wasn't expecting to not actually be interviewing, but being really in it. In it to win it. I got to ask you this because she was a good friend of mine, Carrie Fisher, and you got to work with her in Fanboys.
Love her.
She used to get mad at me because I said, God, you're like my grandma. And she's like, well, fuck you. And I go, no. I mean, like, your house is always open. You're like, hey, stop by in between auditions, have a sandwich in the fridge, go in, do whatever. I don't have to be home. I stayed at her house for 4 months in one of her bungalows because I was going through a rough time. And it was just insane. She's so giving, so wonderful. And it was a real loss. But what was your experience? I don't know how long you got to work with her, but what was it like for you?
She was on set for a day. Wow. She was the nurse in that scene. And I just, it was a sad scene where because our friend, Chris Marquette, Linus, he's dying and he's not feeling well. And she's like supposed to come out and just be like, he can see you now, Right. And I'm just sitting there just like staring at her. Oh my God, it's Mrs. Naya. Right. I'm supposed to be sad. And I couldn't get the fucking smile off my face. She is a trip, dude. She this is how I'll always remember her. We're we all came back from a break, and we're sitting around in the waiting room where she's supposed to come in and tell us to come and meet with Linus. And we're waiting on Carrie, and we're like, okay, yeah, where's Carrie? And she's just all, I'm here. And we look down, and she's just like took her break on the floor, just like lying on the floor, eating Fruit Loops off of her chest.
That's
her on the floor.
amazing.
And she's like, hey guys. I'm just like, what?
You know,
And
it's
she was
Jesus.
so relaxed, and just like, she's been living on sets her whole life, and there was just like this, I don't know, we just had so much reverence for her. And then of course I was so jealous that Marquette got to kiss her. I was just like, motherfucker.
That's amazing. She did an episode of Smallville, and
oh yeah,
they were looking for her too. They were looking for Carrie, and they found her in the those giant air conditioning vents that they put on set, the little like worm-like things that are really big that blow cold air into the. She was in one, cooling off.
Yeah, she was living in there. Yeah, she likes to get into a little nook. Oh, may she rest in peace. Yeah, man, so honored that I got to meet her. Got to meet Billy D on Fanboys.
Man, yeah.
Got to meet a lot of my favorite people. Like I love Star Wars. Like
me too. We could talk about that a whole episode. We could talk about Star Wars. It's funny, Carrie, I've talked about this, but she gave me her Force Awakens chair.
Oh,
Carrie Fisher. Yeah. It was
amazing. How did you become such good friends with her? What was the deal?
I had an assistant at the time, and her assistant called my assistant and said, hey, this is Carrie Fisher's assistant, and Carrie's daughter is a big fan of Smallville, and Carrie wants to know if you could send her an autograph. And I go, could she send me a Return of the Jedi autograph when she's almost naked with Jabba the Hutt? And so I still have the picture. It says, blow me, Carrie. And we became friends, and she'd invite me to her parties. We actually threw a party together.
Wow.
And I just started hanging out with her and going. Again, I've always had this feeling. My listeners know that I never really felt like I belong when I'm around big celebrities and things. But I'd go to these gatherings, and it'd be Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, Robert Downey Jr., Nicole Kidman, and like 15 people hanging at her house all the time, like Meryl Streep, and like, Michael, get in here, say hello. I'm like, hey, Meryl Streep. Hey, George Lucas. Hey, she didn't give a fuck. She was like, this is my friend. This is Michael. I don't care how big stars you are. He's welcome. And she always made you feel like that. And we just hit it off. She knew I came from a dysfunctional family, and obviously she did too. And Debbie Reynolds lived in front of her in her little house on the same property.
Right.
So we'd go down and visit Debbie, who was watching QVC till 3 a.m, and she'd have all these pictures of like all these big stars saying, to Debbie, I love you. And it's Frank Sinatra and just crazy shit, man. So that's how we became friends.
Yeah. Postcards from the Edge.
Postcards from the Edge, man. That movie still makes me cry when Gene Hackman says, you have everything. People love you. And she goes, but I don't feel it. And I go, oh, man. That sucks. But yeah, I could understand that. We're almost done here. You're a big horror fan.
Yeah, I dig horror. Yeah.
I love horror. I saw that you're a horror fan. I don't know. You published a graphic novel, horror anthology, Moon Lake, a collection of stories, chronicles the past, present, and future of the most haunted town on earth, Moon Lake. I got to check this out.
Yeah, I'll send you some. I'll send it to you if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're making an animated show out of that. That is my homage to Twilight Zone and Tales from the Crypt and Heavy Metal the movie. Yeah, I dig horror. Like I like my horror is like love Jaws.
Yeah.
Love Shining.
Yeah.
love like Cujo.
We just watched Cujo last week again.
Did you?
I have a horror movie group, and we watched Cujo, and it still holds up.
Oh,
and I loved it so much. I emailed Dee Wallace from the mother from in Cujo and E.T. and done tons of shit. And I go, "Want to be in the podcast?" She goes, "Sure." So she's coming over to the house. I'm stoked. I'm like a nerd like that.
Oh man. Yeah, that movie scared the shit out of me because we had stray dogs in my neighborhood, and I was like, any one of those dogs could be a Cujo.
We named our dog Cujo. It was a poodle when we were kids. Little dog Cujo.
Yeah, man. Like those are my jam. Like the recent ones.
Not many good ones. Not many good ones.
Yeah, I'm like they're scary as hell. Like this, like there's some paranormal ones, like the Circle. But they freak me out in a way that I don't know. It's different. It
is different. Like, it's raw.
Yeah. You know what messed me up as a kid? You remember The Howling?
Oh yeah.
Remember the werewolf transformations and that? Terrifying.
I think it was almost better than the American Werewolf in London transformation.
That one too is messed up.
They're both messed up.
Because that was the pain of it.
Yeah, it was so freaky, man. There's some movies that just stick with you. There's moments in time, like All right, look, this is called Shit Talking with Dan Fogler.
Okay,
Fogler. I said it right.
Yeah, good job.
These are from These are from my patrons. They get to ask questions. Join Patreon, patreon.com/inside of you. They really help the show more than they know. Here we go. Tom N. Does Dan still crank up Def Leppard when their songs come on?
Yeah, I can't play ping pong without listening to Def Leppard.
Dude, I love Def Leppard. Dude, so many fun actors in Balls of Fury.
Oh
my God. So many fun actors. Holy shit.
Including Christopher Walken, who is like one of my favorites.
Let's do dual Walkens. So, Dan, how long have you been an actor?
Well, let me tell you something. I've been an actor since I was born. I came out of my mother's vagina, and I was holding the umbilical, and I was using it as a microphone, strumming it like a bass, and everyone was clapping.
I had $50 million. Dan, quit acting. I'll give you $50 million. Would you do it?
I still have so many more roles that I want to do, including the Chris Walken story.
Have you ever been called Dan Fogelberg?
Incessantly. Fogelberg, Folgers Crystals, happened Fogler. I don't know what's so hard about Fogler.
It's easy.
Do I even sound like him? I just kind of sound like him.
You do. It's great. Maddie S. I got to stop it. Any fun memories from Take Me Home Tonight that you'd like to share?
Yes. Yeah. I love that movie. I had so much fun in that movie. That movie was just a constant party. I loved they used every single Scarface impression. It's all sprinkled out throughout the whole movie.
Amazing.
Yeah. And that scene in the bathroom with Angie Everhart was with the future man in the leather outfit. Do you know who that is? That is his last name is Frankenstein. That guy was related to Dr.
No.
Yeah. It was part of his lineage. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was the most surreal moment of my life. With her smacking me, bruises up and down my ribs. She's riding me and smacking me. And he's off on Frankenstein in his leather outfit. Ooh.
Did you tell her to really hit you, or you're like, no?
I did not tell her to really hit me, but what are you going to argue with her? She really beat the shit out of me. But the reactions were wonderful.
Danny, Spinning Gold looks like a great film for those of us that love the music of the 70s. What is Dan's favorite song on the soundtrack?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love all the George Clinton stuff. Parliament Funkadelic. We go there. We do a little Kiss. He discovers Kiss, Casablanca Records. So, and yeah, I mean, like if you're a music lover, there's all that disco, Diana Ross, Bill Withers, man. Holy shit.
What's your favorite band from the 70s and 80s?
My favorite band from the 70s and 80s.
You could name two, 70s and one in the 80s.
Oh, two different ones?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, I really got into Zeppelin. I got into the Doors. That's a little before. Aerosmith and the Black Crowes.
Wow.
I just saw the Black Crowes recently in London here, and they were amazing. God damn it, they sounded wonderful. They're singing the whole "Shake Your Money Maker" album. And that was like, oh my God, what am I in high school right now? It was crazy.
I've never been a Black Crowes fan. Maybe I need to listen to them more, but I play hockey with their manager of many years. And he always talks about them. I'm like, oh yeah. I'd rather listen to the Counting Crows.
What's your jam, man? Do you like that? Because they're like a classic rock band.
I love 70s, 80s, 90s. I can go on and on, but I like the Doors. I like Zeppelin. I like the Eagles. I like yacht rock. I love a little Christopher Cross when I'm driving. I like a little Def Leppard. I like
I'm getting into Creedence a lot lately.
Yeah, I like alternative. I like The Cure. I like Psychedelic Furs, OMD, Morrissey, Smiths, all that stuff. I listen to a bit of everything, but 70s, 80s, and a little 90s. Last question, Little Lisa, if you could go back in time. If I can go back time. If you can go back on set to time on a set to change one thing, what would it be?
There was
go
back on set to change one thing. Marty, go back in time on set.
Damn, where is that boy? Damn.
It could be any set. Okay. I wish I can go back in time to when Michael J. Fox forced me to do an impression of him for him. I wish that I didn't do the impression for him, that I just went straight into my Doc Brown, because that would have been a much better, less awkward situation.
Is your Michael J. Fox Marty good?
So here's the situation. So I'm doing the Spelling Bee show. You want to hear this story? I'll tell you real quick.
Tell me it.
So this is why it's good to know a couple different impressions. So I'm doing the Spelling Bee show, and I'm like, I'm just gonna leave. And my buddy is just like, hey, after the show was great, but I was like, I just wanted to go home. And my buddy was like, Michael J. Fox is in the green room. He wants to meet you. I was like, oh shit. So I'm like running around. I felt like I just missed him, and I was like, oh man. And then I turn the corner, and then I'm just face to face with Michael J. Fox. And he's just all, hey man. And I'm like, hey, he's like, I hear you do an impression of me. And I'm just like, oh shit. And I was like, yeah, I do it, but it's from my comedy act. And I'm just like, it's not, I don't want to do it. It's like, do it. Like David Spade, he does one. And I was like, oh, he's like, yeah, Dana Carvey does one. It's like, okay, I'll do it. And I go, this is what I do for my act. I go, whoa, Doc, you tell me you built a time machine, Adam Mallory. And then he looks at me.
Adam Mallory.
He looks at me and he goes,
my voice isn't that high.
Walks away with his family, and I'm just like, meh, meh, meh. And then like I was like, how do I fix this? So instantly I turn around and I go, Marty, look out, the Libyans. I do like my best Doc Brown, and he turns around, he's like, whoa, Doc. And then his family started laughing, and then it was okay.
Oh, so my God.
I wish that I could have gone back and just be like, no, I'm not gonna do it, Monty. And then we could have had a similar. I don't know if he would have made me do it. Just never, no matter what, never do the impression for the person, even if they ask you to do it. That's my advice.
What other impressions can you do besides Pacino? What's your best Pacino line?
No, that's tough. My best Pacino line is, I mean, I guess it's, she got a nice ass and you got your head stuck way up it.
That's pretty good. That's great.
It's okay. I do the screaming Pacino.
That's great.
I love doing the Walken.
Yeah, me too.
I got a couple. I do Nicholson. I like doing Nicholson.
That's good.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
That's pretty good. Yeah, I do a little Nicholson too. I love it. My favorite line I've talked about it is in The Shining when Shelley Duvall goes, Jack, someone's in the hotel. They heard Danny. And he goes, are you out of your fucking mind?
Are you out of your fucking mind?
It's so brilliant.
Good. Yeah.
Mr. Grady.
What's that one line where he's he says,
I forgot what he does. What does he say? She says something. She goes, I forgot what it was. But I love Nicholson. Oh man. Great.
Little hairy dog that bit me. Yeah, there's different, Nicholson's is like early Nicholson. And then as he gets older, it gets deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Gets toward the Joker Nicholson.
What does he say when he takes the things out of in The Shining? He takes the fuses out of the car and he goes, oh, Wendy, you got a real big something coming to you. What does he say?
Oh, I don't
You
remember.
got a real big surprise. I forgot.
You ever seen the behind the scenes on that?
Brilliant. It's a 30-minute one that Francis Ford Coppola's daughter made, right? And it's like a 30-minute, and he's brushing. I don't know if people are going to find this very interesting.
That's it.
Yeah.
Got it. Make sure your teeth are fresh. Fresh breath for the people that I work with. Love that bit. And he's meeting that girl, and she's like, obviously, like, he's meeting that woman, and they've obviously had something in the past.
Yeah.
And she's like, you don't remember me at all? He's like, I meet a lot of people every day. You know how many hands I shake?
You look like him when you say it.
Like they obviously had sex at some point.
Oh my God.
I have no clue who you are.
You look like him. Your face, you become him. It's weird.
Yeah.
This has been a real blast, man. You're fantastic. I'm so happy for all the great work you've done and the accolades and people really paying attention to you because they should. People should watch The Offer. It's got to be one of your favorite things you've done, right?
Oh God, yeah, that was amazing. Like, what a dream come true.
You're a genius. This is a gift. I'm glad we got to finally connect. It was very easy to talk to you. You have great stories, and let's keep in touch. And you're going to send me something, right? You're going to send me a book.
I'll send you all my books. I'll send you links to them. And and don't be a stranger at these cons, man. We should hang out.
I would love that, dude. I would love that.
Cool.
All right.
I'll send you all of Fogler's fictions, man.
By the way, if you ever do a podcast,
I do a podcast.
What's your podcast?
I do a Dan Fogler 40 Experience podcast, and you should come on my podcast. We'll have a blast.
You tell me when. I'll be there.
All right. Next couple weeks, man.
I was thinking a cool podcast name for you. You already have it. Would be the Fogler Files.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. I do have a section of the podcast where I do Tales from Beyond the Veil, where we talk about all sorts of paranormal conspiracy stuff, and the Fogler Files would be a good name just to just do that stuff.
A section. It's now time for the Fogler Files.
The Fogler Files.
Yeah. All right, dude, you're awesome. Thanks for allowing me to be inside of you, and I will talk to you very soon.
Do you feel me? Did you feel me inside of you?
I felt you deeply, my friend, deeply, organically. Later, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
I like this guy. He was just really fun. Again, we didn't know each other. It's always like you never know what you're, okay, are they going to get my vibe? And he just enjoyed things. We bounced off each other. And I'm glad to see him like doing drama and getting noticed for this because, I think sometimes you see, I think when I was doing comedies, I was just doing, like I did this comedy and this pilot and this sitcom and this fun. And I was kind of known as, maybe a funny guy and he'll just do comedies. And I thought that's what I would do. And then somebody, they gave me the chance in Smallville to play Lex Luthor. And the next thing you know, I'm playing this. It's just crazy. I think, I think he said it, or actually might have been J.K. Simmons when I interviewed him. He said that a lot of time comedians, or maybe Jim Gaffigan said it.
Yeah.
Gaffigan said comedians, it's easier for them to do drama. And it makes sense. I think a lot of times there's like all this insecurity with actors and all this dysfunction and improving themselves. And, they're a little dramatic and dark and maybe that's why. I don't know. But anyway, thank you, Dan Fogler. And if you're just listening to the end of this, there's a whole bunch of fun stuff like joining Patreon and supporting the podcast. And my new album, Sunspin, Never Is What It Is out there. Go to sunspin.com. And we are also streaming everywhere. And be sure to go to Creation Con in Dallas to see me and Tom Willing do a Smallville Nights and all that. Right now, top tier patrons. These are the folks that, they do it. They keep me together. Here we go, Ryan. Nancy D, Leah S, Sarah V, Little Lisa 2, Yukiko, Jill E, and Brian H, and Nico P, Robert B, Jason W, Sylvie M, Kristen K, and Raj C. Joshua D, Jennifer N, Stacy L, Jamal F, Janelle D, Kimberly Mike E, Eldon Supremo, 99 more, Santiago M, Chad Leanne P, Janina R, Maya P, Maddie S, Belinda N, Chris H, Dave H, Sheila G, Brad D, Ray H, Tabitha T, Tom and Liliana A, Talia M, and Betsy D, Chad B, Dan and Angel M, Ryan and C, Corey K, Deb Nexon, Michelle A, Jimmy C, Brandy D, Camille S, Joey M, Eugene and Leah, Corey, Heather L, Jake B, what the hell, Megan T, you're so swell, Mel S, you're the best, Orlando C, it's just you and me, Caroline R, what are you doing, Christine S, Eric H, Shane N, you're my friend, Emma R, Andrew M, Sadoichi 77, my friend, Oracle, Karina N, and Amanda R, Jen B, Kevin E, Stephanie Kaylee 92, Jorel, Billy S, Jim and J, Leanne J, Luna R, Cindy E and Mike F, Stone H and Brian L, Cameron E and Katie B. Thank you so much, patrons. That were the top tier patrons in a song. Should we just start doing that every time it's just a new song?
Oh my God, that was so good.
That deserved to be like
Grammy nominated.
Ass-capped.
What?
Ass-capped? I don't know what it means, but ass-cap,
Yeah, like the recording something.
It needed to be ass-capped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Micah Rosenbaum from the Hollywood Hills in California, Southern California.
I'm Ryan Taze. I'm also here.
He's very calm today. He's rested.
I am not rested.
I'm not either. Vegas still is hitting my ass, kicking my ass. A little wave to the camera. We love you guys. Thank you for choosing this podcast. Postacast? Thanks for making this podcast your podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it and keep tuning in, even if you don't know people sometimes were like, I don't even know this guest, but I tune in to hear what they have to say and I learned something, and that's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's cool. So thank you. Thanks. And always be good to yourself. That's most important. Be good to yourself. We'll see you next week.